Good evening, and welcome to the Mingles of Evo Live. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here in our new Facebook page, in our new community, Evo Live 360. My name is Vanessa Vega, and I'm every Wednesday night transmitting and speaking about spirituality and how to obtain your highest life potential. Okay, so let's dig in, because tonight I have a question that I received from Andrew, and I want to thank Andrew for this question. Andrew from England, so far away, and his question was, how can we prove that consciousness is not our brain or mind, and that it lives on when our body dies? So tonight, I'm going to answer this question. Proof of consciousness's eternity and its entanglement with our emotions and not our thoughts. Okay? So, the quick answer to this question is that we can prove it through the fusion of scientific and spiritual facts, what I call spiritual science. And in Evo Live's 360 slogan is precisely the spiritual science of highest well-being. Because I know that it is in the mixture, it is in the fusion of science and spirituality. We cannot, when answering questions, life questions, right? We cannot take only a single concept, a single perspective, a single practice or belief to answer these questions, these life questions. Because we know that the base of mankind is multidimensional. It's of a multidimensional nature. So there are many paths to the same way, and there are a lot of data that we're gonna sum up to make and answer our questions in life. Okay? And there is only not one truth, but there are many truths, okay? In life also. It's not just one. So, when we get all this data, this is what happened to me, okay? When I had all my data, all my information, all the validity of my emotions telling me and screaming to me that I had arrived to the answers I truly felt in my heart, right? That I had answers that satisfied me. This is how I knew that I had come to my truth, that I had arrived to my truth. So, we need to feel it in order to know that we have reached our answers. So I'll share tonight my story of how I came to know these answers, in hopes it will answer the question sent by Andrew, and perhaps a question that many of you have had, right? How can we prove? And I'll start by saying this anecdote that I reached these answers because I was in my awakening. I started to look I was searching for positive thoughts and memes, right, in the internet. Because I like to keep myself in good spirits. So, and I like to read these memes with positive thoughts and all this. And this quote from Mozart kept appearing in my computer over and over again. deleted it like 3 or 4 times before, because I saw that it was a musical quote, and that was not what I was looking for, right? I was looking for life subjects, things that had to do with life and all that, and how to approach life. And so this one, I thought at that moment, it had no answers for me. Little did I know, right? It kept on appearing. And obviously, I knew that the universe was trying to speak to me and that I needed to pay attention to this quote. And this was a quote: "The music is not in the notes, but in the silence between." I don't know how many of you have heard it. But when I heard this, and I really read it, and I said, and what the heck he's talking about here? How could Mozart say that the music is not in the notes when he is a composer, right? A music prodigy that composed beautiful music with the notes precisely. How could he say something that looked so contradicting? So this blew my mind away, and I spent like weeks trying to understand, right? And this is what I understood, because I did. I was not going to give up to decipher, right? What he meant, and I understood that he meant, right? That the music, that for him was the maximum goal, right? His muse, his inspiration to compose music, his passion, was not about the note. That was the obvious thing about music, because as you know, the notes are, when we think of music, if somebody talks to you of music, you immediately go to those symbols, those notes, right? That we know as music. Our mind takes us there. So this is the obvious thing about music, that without notes, we cannot make music. So he was saying that it was not about that, truly, music, but not about the obvious and the given, right? The notes are the given part of music. Rather, music's elixir, right? And beautiful, the beautiful thing, the specialness about music was about the space between those notes, which was the silence between. Because we know, for those that know a little bit about music, we know that those spaces are the tempo, create the tempo of the music. And if we wouldn't have a note with a space in between the other note, the notes would look all mumbled and jumbled up, right? Or perhaps if we couldn't change between one note and the other note, we couldn't perceive the contrast, so we couldn't create rhythm. That is what creates a melody, right? If we stay in a note, this note stays there, but we cannot create music with that. We have to have a time in between and a space in between, a silence between one note and another one. And that creates a melody, creates music, creates a rhythm, okay? So, when I applied this concept to what I was looking for in the Mingles, right, to life, I could see that the thing that was relevant to me was that the elixir and secret or silence, let's say, of life is not about the obvious. It's not in the obvious things we see in life, what we can see and what we can smell or touch, right, physically, or the given stuff. Rather, it lied in what I couldn't see, in what was not given, okay? So, this brought to me directly into energy, because the only thing that exists in life and in science, right, that, as you know, science has to prove everything with quantitative and qualitative methods, right, in order to validate them. So the only thing I could see clearly that there was in life, or about life, and in science, that could not be seen, or that was silent, right? And not obvious to the naked eye, was energy. Because energy has, by its intangible nature, has a silence and a secret to it, right? Because nobody can see energy to the naked eye. We cannot see that. But we cannot deny it exists, right? And science has proven it does exist, although we cannot see it. So I came to the conclusion that it is in the secret or silence that energy has, by its intangible nature, that the elixir and the truth of human life are found. So right then, there, my attention, right, was focused and taken over to seek answers of eternity, of the eternity and life, and how eternity was entangled with the sensitive nature of human consciousness. Through a careful study of energy and universal law, which are the laws that govern it, okay? So, and I was able to verify and realize from my own experience that consciousness is directly related to our emotions and not to human thought, like many attribute it to be. And how did I come up with that, right? So I'm going to share with you an exercise I did for myself when I was doing this for me, right? Searching for answers. And I started by doing this exercise that I brought to my thought, right? Two experiences. One really good one where I felt very happy, right? And one I felt very sad about in my life. And I re-experienced the emotions of those events in my life. And I let them be. And I wondered and asked myself, what part of me is feeling or experiencing those emotions that I felt? Where do I feel them, right? Is it in the brain? I asked myself. Or is it in the heart? Or is it in that which we call the soul, that we cannot see, right? Where is it that I felt it? And as much as I analyzed myself, I could see and that it was here, right? In my chest, in the right middle of the chest, where I described that I was feeling all this. But that didn't satisfy me. So I went and did this exercise with many people and asked them to think about this and tell me where. Because I wanted to know if I was the only one that was experiencing this, or if everybody felt it in the same way and experienced it in the same way I did. And 100% this was corroborated, because every single person I asked, and I asked them to do this right for me, they would tell me, Vanessa, I felt those feelings. I feel them here. I feel them and everybody touches their chest right here in the center of the chest, right? I feel them here. I feel them in my heart. I feel them in my soul, right? Those are the descriptions that I kept one and again, kept receiving. So I could clearly see that my emotions and the emotions of everyone, right, were coming from this place here. And did not at all come from our brain. I was not thinking about how I was feeling. My thoughts were not creating my emotions. It was my emotions creating my thoughts. But not the other way around, okay? So right there, right, I knew, and I asked myself, what do I have inside my chest? This was the question that I made to myself. What was that I had inside my chest here that was giving me those feelings and those emotions, where I was experiencing that I was feeling? What is it that I have here? Because all my logic, right, and it told me, and my knowing told me that the heart, although it's a great organ, right, it's a main organ in our body, its function was not to feel. And although it's full of neurons and has this intelligence within it and everything, but I know that feelings did not come from it, although we do tie them to. So what is it that I can't see of myself? What part of me is it that I can't see of myself that is feeling those feelings? And this is when my consciousness took me, right, to study the real anatomy in the human body, the whole anatomy in the human body. Not only the physical aspect, but the energetic aspect. Because I know that everything in this universe is energy, as science has validated, right? So what is it in me that I can't see, right? So I came to that point where I knew that the only thing there is in science and about science that we cannot see is energy. Is energy. So the other question that I made to myself was then, what energetic part I have here? So there I was taken to the energetic body and its chakra system, okay? Which I don't know if you all know, but chakras are energetic points that our body does have and regulate the 7 main principal glands of the physical body, okay? And in the case of the heart, it is the thymus, the one that does this job for the heart, right? It's the gland, the thymus heart. But the heart chakra specifically, I could see clearly that because the heart chakra is like the melting pot, it is the place where the lower chakra energies and the three higher ones and the three lower ones converge. So the energy of the body converge into one. I could see clearly why it was felt in us. That's why we take that energy is there. That chakra, which I call the soul, the chakra, the heart chakra. For me, for Vanessa Vega, it is our soul, because it is the one, it is the melting pot of all our energetic system, of all our chakra system, which is filled with emotions. So, right there, right, I could make that, I could tie, right, emotions directly with my soul, with my consciousness, right? I knew that consciousness was not built out of thought. It was in my brain, right? It was totally built from our emotions. And then what happened after that was that because of my personal experience and thousands of videos of near-death experiencers, of analyzing all that data that I've seen, thousands, okay? I could clearly see how every single time people had near-death experiences, they expressed that once they crossed over, their experience is all based on emotions. How they felt peace, how they felt love, how they felt a warm feeling. Everything is expressed through emotions and feeling. And there was my confirmation. And it keeps to this day, because I've analyzed, as I say, thousands and thousands of cases. And every single time, every experience is experienced from an emotional aspect, not from thoughts. Because as we know, when we cross over, the brain is not there. So we cannot think. We only experience. We feel. And there I could also know that who was experiencing this life as myself, as Vanessa, was not this body that I am using, my soul is using, right? More so, it was my consciousness, my soul, my energetic body is the one experiencing, giving me experience and feeling everything and living everything as I experience it right now. So this is how I could understand that these two were entangled. And then after that, right, my consciousness took me to understand that through universal law, energy, and through scientific facts, as we know, and the law of thermodynamics specifically, which states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only can be transformed. So if that part of me, that consciousness, that soul that I am, was the one feeling, was the one experiencing, it's the one that provides life and energy to the body. Was through emotion, right? Energy in motion. And that in itself, this is all energy. This part of me is all energy. Then, if science has proven, without a doubt, that energy cannot be destroyed, this part of me couldn't also, because I am energy. And so are you, okay? And this is how I came to prove, right? And know, without a doubt, that since this part is energy, it's pure energy, I could not die as the body does die. The physical body doesn't have its energy force in it to live. Because when we cross over, we leave our body, we separate from our body. What happens is that the part that is feeling and experiencing life still keeps feeling, because energy cannot be destroyed. Emotions cannot be destroyed. So you are going to keep on feeling. And not only, as I've said before, feeling, you're going to feel even more. Because now atoms, this energetic body, that are atoms, right, that you are free. They're not insulated. And so they can vibrate to a much higher level, much higher frequency than before, when they were contained or insulated inside. So this is why people feel those feelings when we cross over the other side. They are so intense, and life over there, right, when we cross over, seems so much more real than this reality. And it is because the atom, the nature of what we truly are, energy, is now free from what contained it, what insulated it. And it's able to vibrate freely like a gas. Like a gas, that a gas, its molecules, right? Its molecules, its atoms vibrate at a much higher frequency than in a solid, okay? So that's all what happens. So our emotions, since we are totally emotions filled, literally, we are going to feel those emotions to a much higher frequency and intensity. So, and this is how, okay? This is how I could prove. And we've known this, because we know that it is by our emotions that life teaches us and molds us into who we are. It is not thought. People don't change because of how they think. They change because of what they experience and live and feel. That those are the things that transform us, that changes us, right? We do manifest, though. We do manifest by what we think and what we believe. But we don't transform ourselves with our thoughts. And in conclusion, human consciousness is a mixture of moving energy in motion, and information mathematically encoded because of its energetic building block, the atom. As you know, the atom has positive charges and negative charges. And so do we. We have positive emotions and negative emotions. And depending, right, and those codes, those atoms, those emotions have different mixtures of encoded mathematics to them, okay? Just like the molecules in water, right, H2O, that come together to form water, there is math, right? There is a charge that an atom has, and we are energy, so we are going to have also charges, positive and negative charge. And those charges are the frequencies, the vibrations, the mathematical vibrations, and the information, math information, form of math, okay, that is contained inside the atoms that we are. They are vibrational frequency, and all this in the human life translates into our emotions, our energy emotion. We are emotional beings. That is what we are. Okay? We are soul beings that vibrate to these frequencies. And this is why I always say that emotions, living in awareness of our hoarded emotions and how these events, these experiences that we have lived in life mark us, right? Because we decide how to react to those experiences. And if we keep hoarding negative emotions about those experiences, our life, right, is gonna be dense and hard. And what we should do, right? What we should do is constantly purge these energies, and really go through the emotions and not let them settle in ourselves, because these are vibrations that lower us, okay? So I hope this has answered Andrew's question. Thank you for making it. And if I have not, or you have another question that perhaps you want to know more about, you please write me to evolife360@gmail.com or through Messenger, where Andrew wrote me his particular question. And please, as always, share this information so many others can benefit from it. Okay? And follow me in our new page now, EvoLife360 Facebook, and subscribe to our new channel, EvoLife360 in YouTube. So, sending you, as always, love and light. Hoping this information has been of a lot of benefit for you. Always become the investigator of your life. Do the questions that you need to do to reach those answers that you truly need about life, okay? So hoping this helps you. See you next week here in the Mingles of Evo Life. Bye-bye.